For 3 years, my nervous system have one job. Finish the master's degree, the University of Glasgow. Assignments, deadlines, research, pressure. For 3 years, there was always something to submit, something to prove, something to fix before sleep. And then it ends. I finished, and for about a week, I felt what I thought I was supposed to feel. Relief, pride, a quiet kind of satisfaction, and then it faded. And what replaced it was not joy, it was not depression, it was silence. There is a name for this, but most of us misread it. We called it burnout, or ingratitude, or midlife crisis that arrives early. But sometimes it is something else, emotional flatness. And here's why this matters. This is not a simple story about failure. That is what can happen after a life-defining pursuit ends. And if you ever reach a goal you chased for years and felt nothing where you expected, fireworks, your nervous system is not broken. It may be speaking a language you have not learned to translate yet. There are 4 rooms that rebuild aliveness. The first room is recovery. The second is friction. The third contains a question that makes you uncomfortable. And the 4th room asks whether your life is still being lived or just performed. That is where we are going. Emotional flatness is confusing because it appears at the wrong time. You expected emptiness when your life falls apart, but sometimes it arrives when you finally works. After the degree, after the promotion, after the financial breakthrough, after leaving the difficult relationship, after reaching the goal you thought you would finally make you feel different. You expected arrival, you got silence. Here's why. For years, your system was organized around pursuit. Finish this, fix that, survive that, prove yourself, get there. When the chase slows down, your system does not instantly know how to feel peace. It knows only how to chase. So the moment things becomes calmer, you do not feel freedom, you feel absence. And because this happens after success, you often do not tell anyone because you are supposed to be grateful. But gratitude is not the same as aliveness. You can appreciate what you built and still feel disconnected inside it. That is the first trap. A lot of people carry hidden belief. They never say it out loud, but it drives them. When I get there, I will finally feel different. When I get the money, the title, the relationship, the proof, then something inside me will unlock. But arrival rarely works that way. Success can change your conditions without changing the emotional system that lives inside those conditions. You can improve your life externally while still carrying the same fear, the same emptiness, the same inability to rest, the same needs to prove. Achievement can change your circumstances. It cannot automatically teach your nervous system how to receive peace. That's why the new home, the new income, the new status eventually start to feel like the baseline. Not because you are ungrateful, because your system was built around pursuit, not integration. Psychologists have a name for this: hedonic adaptation. The mind adjusts to new condition faster than what we expect. The life you once wanted become normal. In 1978, psychologist Philip published a study that became one of the classic reference in happiness research. They compared major lottery winners with a control group. And the result was uncomfortable. The lottery winners were not significantly happier than the controlled group. But the more revealing part was this. They reported taking less pleasure from ordinary daily events, not from failure, not from losing, from winning, from receiving the things many people imagined would change everything. Sit with that. The point is not that money is useless. The point is that the mind can normalize even a life-changing upgrade. And once the upgrade becomes normal, the old question returns, now what? If your emotional system is built only around getting somewhere, then every arrival eventually demands another finish line. More money, more recognition, more proof. Not because you are greedy, because the system is still built around pursuit, not integration. You can see a related pattern at the highest levels of achievement, not just in the people who failed, not just the people who never reach the arena, but in people who have reached one of the hardest arenas in the world, the Olympics Games. In 2023, George published an exploratory study on a Danish Olympics athletes after the Tokyo Olympics. This was not a study of only medal winners. That matters. It looks at 49 Olympic athletes, people who have already reached a level of a performance very few people will ever touch. 1 month after games, 27% reported either below average well-being or moderate to severe depression scores, and 16% reported both. So we have to be precise. This does not prove that winning makes you empty, and it does not mean every Olympic athlete collapses after the games. The point is more subtle and more important. Even reaching the stage, even organizing your life around an elite goal, even getting to the moment you spend years preparing for, does not automatically protect you from emptiness that can follow when the structures disappears. The researchers also found no statistically significant relationship between goal achievement and mental health. So this is not only a simple story of they did not win, so they felt bad. There was a tendency for athletes who did not meet their expectations to report more negative experience. But the larger point remains, after a life-defining pursuit ends, the nervous system still has to answer a question achievement cannot answer. Who am I now when the thing that organized my life is behind me? That is why this evidence matters. Because emotional flatness is not always about failing to reach the goal. Sometimes it is about what happens after the goal stops giving you life structure. There is another layer people miss. Sometimes emotional flatness appears after a long period of survival. When you spend years under pressure, your emotional system adapts. It learns to suppress. It learns not to feel too much, because feeling everything would interrupt survival. So you become efficient, controlled, reliable, but also slightly disconnected. Then later, when life becomes safer, you expected emotions to return immediately. But it does not always return that fast. Because numbness may have been part of the system that helped you to survive. You did not become flat because you are empty. You become flat because for a long time, feeling less helped you to keep moving. If you misunderstand this stage, you will attack yourself for not feeling grateful. But gratitude cannot be forced into a nervous system that's still learning safety. Sometimes the first stage after survival is not joy. It's quiet. It's emotional delay. It is the system slowly realizing we do not have to brace anymore. Imagine someone spent a decade building financial security for a family that no longer needs protecting. In the same way, the goal was real. The sacrifice was real. But the person who needed that goal is no longer the same person standing inside the result. This is identity fracture. The life you built still stands, but the person inside it has changed. And when people feel the fracture, their first instinct is to add more. More goals, more intensity, more simulation. But more does not fix flatness. More only hides it. Because the problem is not lack of simulation, it is lack of connection. Connection to your values, to your body, to your relationship. That does not require performance. You can have money and still feel empty. You can have status and still feel invisible. But the human system does not only need achievement, it needs meaning, safety, belonging, contact with something real. If those are missing, success becomes a beautiful room with no oxygen. So, what do you do with emotional flatness? Not panic, not shame, even not to escape. You rebuild the house, but not all at once, room by room. Room 1, the recovery room. Not a distraction, a recovery. Sleep, movement, honest conversations. If flatness comes from years of overextension, you cannot simulate your way out of it. You have to recover your way back into yourself. Room 2, the workshop. Not all friction is bad. Some friction makes life feel alive. A difficult conversation, a creative challenge, a physical training, a meaningful contact with difficulty. Flatness grows when life becomes too optimized, too controlled, too protect from discomfort. Humans need the workshop, the place that wakes up parts of you. That comfort has made quiet. Room 3, the private study. Ask yourself, what am I building now? That is still matters even if nobody applauds. Many goals are powered by audience, recognition, status, approval, but values-based direction works differently. It gives you a reason to continue even when the emotional high fades. This is the room nobody talks about because it requires you to give up the performance and find the direction. Room 4, the unlocked room. Flatness grows in performance. It softens through honesty. You need a space where you do not have to be impressive, where you can say, I don't feel as much as I thought I would. I'm tired. I don't know what matters to me now. If you are always playing the role of someone who has it together, you may never give the real version of you enough space to speak. This is the room that changes everything, because it is the only room where you are not performing. Emotional flatness is not always a failure of gratitude. Sometimes it is the nervous system saying, we survived, but we have not yet learned how to live. Sit with that. We survive, but we have not yet learned how to live. This is where the work changes. You stop asking, why am I not happy? And you start asking, what part of me is still offline? What did I build for survival that now needs to be redesigned for meaning? There is nothing wrong with wanting success. There is nothing wrong with wanting your life to finally work. But having it all can still feel empty. If all was designed by a version of you that was not only trying to survive. So if you feel flat inside a life you once wanted, do not rush to destroy it. Do not shame yourself for it. Study it. Because the emptiness is not a proof that you failed. It is a proof that you arrived. And now the real question is not, what is next? It is, who am I when I am no longer chasing?